If you're looking for a home mobility program that you can perform without any equipment, using your own body weight that takes less than 30 minutes, this is the video you need to check out. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Nick Helton and I'm a physical therapist. I make videos on exercise, injury rehab, and physical therapy. Today, I'm making a home mobility program that you can easily perform in less than 30 minutes. If you're watching this video, what I want you to do is follow along with me. I'm gonna walk through the entire workout. I'm gonna tell you how to do it step by step. I'm gonna show you regressions, progressions, ways to make it easier and harder. All you have to do is follow along. Each exercise is done for 1 minute and I put each exercise up on the screen, and I've even included a little timer at the bottom that helps make your life a little easier so you actually know when the time is coming. Let's get right into the workout. I want you at home to give it a try and tell me what you think. Give me some feedback. Let me know how the actual workout went. Let's jump right into it. The focal point of today's workout is going to be a full body mobility series that you can do without any equipment in the comfort of your own home. I have a yoga mat here and a little bit of gym floor padding, but you don't really even need that. That's just more for my comfort. So everything we're going to do is going to be body weight or things that you don't need any equipment whatsoever. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm starting my timer. The first thing I want you to do, we're going to go for 1 minute. Let's get into a prayer stretch position, which is going to be hands and knees. We're going to extend our arms straight out. And we're going to go all the way back until you feel a nice stretch kind of in your lats. And then we're just going to move back and forth. So we're going to do a few reps with those arms straight. I'm really trying to extend my shoulder, go as far as I can, sink down into the ground. I also want you to change up the angle a little bit. So I'm just going to reach to my right. This will bias my left arm a little bit more. And then I'm going to reach to my left, which will bias my right arm a little bit more. Each round, what we're going to do is go for a minute. And each circuit has 3 exercises. This first circuit is just a warm up. It's a movement prep circuit. Okay, if you hear that bell, that means we move on to the next one. The next one is a cat camel. We're going to start in our hands and knees position. We're going to drive our back up and then come back down. The goal of this one is to really move the spine. So we're trying to get spine flexion and then all the way back down to spine extension. Again, we're just going for 1 full minute. If you haven't seen my previous videos on how I do these mobility series, what we do is a thing called an EMOM. So it's every minute on the minute. The goal is that you're doing an exercise for a minute and then you're switching. I'm going to put a little blue timer at the bottom. So when you see that blue timer going, that's going to be about a minute. And then you'll also hear a little beep that I have on my phone timer. So what I want you to do is follow along with me as I go through all these exercises. Okay, perfect. So that's our second exercise. Now we're going to move into the couch stretch. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab our back leg here as we lose our balance. We're going to get more in frame. So we're going to grab our back leg here. We can use the wall for a little bit of balance. And all we're going to do is move back and forth. So I want to hold my knee back. Try and get a nice stretch, and then we sink our hips and come back up. Now I'm just stretching my right side for right now. What I want you to do is pick a side, work with it for round 1, and then switch to the other side for round 2. I've actually been doing a lot of cycling lately to get my cardio up, and because of that my quads are feeling extremely sore. So this feels great right now. Major points of emphasis on this one, try not to overextend your back. All right, that's round 1. Let's go back into the first exercise, which is our prayer reaches. And again, I'm going to put the exercises up on the screen. You'll be able to see what we're doing. If the terminology doesn't make sense, don't worry. Just follow along with what I'm doing. I'm going to walk you through every exercise and how to do it. I'm going to give you some tips along the way. This first series is just our movement prep series. It's just getting ready to exercise, getting the body prepped to go through some of these movements. You don't have to worry about doing this quickly. This should be nice and comfortable. Should be mildly challenging, but nothing too crazy. If you feel a little stiffer on one side, you could focus on that. Like right now, I feel pretty good going straight, but if I go left or right, that's where I feel it. All right, into cat camel. Now for the first round of the cat camel, I did more of a thoracic bias, which is your upper back. Let's move our butt back for this next round here. Let's tuck our toes underneath, and let's go from there. You're gonna feel this a little differently. So this is gonna bias your kind of your lower back a little bit more. Just a different way to do the same exercise. A lot of times we have areas that feel a little stiffer than others. For me, this is definitely harder to do than the thoracic one. Major point of emphasis here is trying to move the spine as much as you can. Try to think of each individual segment moving up and each individual segment moving down. Easier said than done. This one is all about getting your spine to move. So if your back is stiff, if your back is tight, this is a great one to get you ready for movement. All right, let's go into the couch stretch here. Now I stretched my right side on the first round, so I'm actually gonna face this other way so you can see me. So we're gonna stretch the left one this round. I'm a little tighter on the left. So what I'm gonna do is I'm holding my heel towards my butt, and I'm just rocking back and forth. Now you don't have to rock, you can just sit here and kind of hold this position. I'm just incorporating a little bit more of a higher level movement, trying to lean my body weight forward or backward. I've got my wall over here for a bit of balance. You don't need it, but I'd rather not fall out of this position. Now after this round, we're gonna take a little 1 minute rest, and I'm gonna explain the next circuit. This is our second time doing this exercise, so you should have stretched both sides at this point. Okay, 60-second rest. Now you probably don't need too much of a rest after that circuit. That wasn't too hard. But that is our movement prep circuit. So we had a movement that was sort of for the spine. We had a movement that was for the shoulders and the upper back. And we also had a movement for the lower body or the quads and the hip flexor. Now we're gonna move on. I'm gonna throw it up on the screen here, but this is gonna be circuit A. So circuit A is going to consist of Birddog, a prone shoulder lift off, and then a tabletop reach. I'll show you all of those, but you don't need any equipment. It's all body weight exercises. The first one is going to be more of a full body movement. The second one is going to be shoulder focused, and the third one is back to a full body movement again. So we got about 15 more seconds. If you need some water, go ahead and grab some. This is a great time to take a break. We're going to run through each one of these circuits twice, and then we take a 1 minute rest. So you get a full 1 minute rest in between each circuit. That's when I want you to take a break. Obviously, if you need to, take a break whenever. All right, so we're gonna start with the Birddog. Relatively easy exercise to get started here, but let's make it a little more difficult. Let's spice it up. Let's try and hold it for 5 seconds. So I've got my back leg nice and straight. Hopefully you can see that on camera. Right arm is nice and straight, left arm is nice and straight. I'm gonna hold this for about 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna switch. Now really the goal here for me is to try and maintain just a nice level body. So I shouldn't be, twisting all over the place. I should be able to maintain a nice stable position. To make this a little bit harder, what I can do is not touch the ground, but touch my knee. So I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to touch my left knee. Now what I'm doing is I'm keeping all of my body weight on my left arm and my right knee. Makes it just a little more difficult. Really focus on hip extension here. You want to get that leg up as high as you can without really kind of using your spine to get into that position. Okay, our next exercise is the prone shoulder lift off. So I'm going to show you with my arms here. What you're going to do is try to take your arms and lift them up off the ground. So the goal with this one is to try and elevate the arms. If you can't do both at once, just do one at a time. To make this slightly easier, go into more of a Y shape. So this is a little bit easier to lift off of. Make it harder, go straight vertical, and really try and lift. This is a challenging one. Doesn't look like it'd be much, but you're basically taking that shoulder to the end of its range of motion and trying to lift off. Keep breathing while you're here. Now I've got my head up just so I can talk to you guys while we do it. You can rest your head down on a pillow or on a towel, is perfectly fine. Okay, let's move to movement number 3. So this one's a bit tough. This is called the tabletop reach. What we're gonna do is get into a tabletop position. So our hands are on the ground. We're gonna lift our butt. So this is our start position. We're going to take one arm, reach across, and come back. Reach across, and come back. Now, if you can't do that, just put your butt down on the ground and try to reach from that position. Or if you need to, just go back and forth in here. You can do what are kind of a bridge into a tabletop position, that's fine. This is a hard one for the shoulders. You get a lot of shoulder extension, but to really make it more difficult, add in a dynamic reach. After this, we take a 1-minute rest. You can grab some water, take a little break. Okay, and my floor is completely disintegrating here. Let's take a 1-minute rest and we'll do one more set of that circuit. Hopefully this is starting to make sense. The general idea is each exercise we're doing for a minute and taking a 1-minute rest after we've gone through that full circuit. Now with all these exercises, I'm also giving you guys some ideas to make them a little easier or a little harder. I want you to make this challenging but not impossible. Man. Okay, so let's get into our position for the next exercise. So we're gonna do the same circuit again, bird dog, prone shoulder lift off, and then the tabletop reach. I'm just gonna pre-position myself. If you happen to have a band at home, feel free to throw that in to make this a little harder. You can put the band around your leg and your arm to make that reach more challenging. All right, let's go. So we're gonna try and do a 5-second hold on this one. 4 and 5, and switch. Again, I'm trying to extend my back leg and hold. Really try and squeeze your back glute, and then reach that arm as far as you can. If this is too hard, you can just do one at a time, so you can just kick the leg or kick the arm. To make this a lot harder, let's do these nice long holds. So let's try and hold for 5 seconds. And when you hold, what I want you to try and do is just be like a statue. So hold that position and don't move at all. It doesn't seem like it, but the leg that you have all your weight on is doing a lot of work, as is the arm you have a lot of weight on. But you'll feel this in your hips, so your hips really have to stabilize this motion. Good, now let's get into the prone shoulder lift off for our next exercise here. Arms are gonna be straight. I'm gonna show you the easier version, so we're gonna lift up one at a time, back and forth. Now what I'm really trying to do is get to the end of my shoulder range of motion. Some people have a lot better shoulder range of motion. You might be hypermobile, you might move really far into the motion. And some people might be a little stiff and be hypomobile, just not have enough range of motion comparatively. Don't worry about how far you can move, just take it to whatever you got. Now I'll do a couple with both. That really wears you out. You can file that other exercises that seem pretty easy. They're actually quite challenging, especially when you do them for a minute straight. All right, let's get into our tabletop position. Again, for the tabletop, wrists are extended back like this. If this is too much on your shoulders or wrists, just keep your butt down. Just reach across and come back. This is the more advanced version, coming up and down. And then this is the way to make it dynamic. Come up and reach. Now to make this really hard, extend those wrists, keep those elbows straight. Really bridge up as high as you can. It's quite a challenge on your flexibility. You can also make this into a bit of a flow. So try not to stop. Just go back and forth, all the way up, and all the way down. Whew. All right. 1 minute rest, grab some water, take a little break. I am going to fix my mat. Does not want to comply today. And I'm gonna grab some water. All right, so that is it for this circuit, not for the workout, just for this circuit. I'm gonna put circuit B up on the screen. We've got 30 more seconds to rest. Circuit B is going to be some ankle drills, some hip mobility drills, and some hip extension or hip bridges. So we're gonna do some hips and ankles on this next round. Again, no equipment required. Don't need to use anything for this, but if you did have some weight kind of hanging around, you could hold on to it for the squatting ankle drill. I'll show you that one, but you don't need it. Okay, let's go. So I'm gonna be out of frame for just a second here, but I'm gonna come back in frame. So here's the exercise. Squat as low as you can, and I want you to put your elbows between your knees. What you're gonna try and do is rock back and forth. So we're gonna drive our knees over the top of our toes. Keep those heels down. If you can see it, my heels are still stuck in the ground. I'm just gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna stretch my inner groin, and I'm also gonna get my ankle moving back and forth. I'll show you from a side view. Squat all the way down, posture up tall, and then just rock it back and forth. The goal is to take that knee over the top of the toes and keep that heel down. Let's try and hang out in this position this entire time. Again, if this is too hard, all you have to do, just shorten the motion. So go more into a squat here and just lean back and forth. With most exercises, the way to make it a little easier, shorten the motion, decrease the weight. That's pretty easy. All right, we're gonna move right into hip circles. So I'm laying on my side. I want you to pick a side and lay on it. We're going to lift the top leg up and we're gonna circle around. So I'm gonna try to go to my end range of motion. This bottom leg is pushing down. So my right leg is gonna circle around counterclockwise. As you're circling, what I want you to really do is take this hip to as far as the range of motion will allow it. So go as far as you possibly can. Push back towards that wall. Keep this leg down. You shouldn't be rolling off the ground. And breathe. Keep circling. So circle all the way around up towards your body. Bring that hip all the way up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. This is really easy if you don't go to the end range. It's really hard if you get those last couple degrees. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is the hip bridge with the leg whip. So, we're gonna be doing a normal bridge, legs straight. We're gonna come up, kick out, and back. Come up, kick out, and back. Now this is the harder version. The easier version, just do a bridge. So just do a bridge up and down. As you go out to the side, it's actually kind of challenging on the abs. You're also getting a little bit of hip work coming out to the side. This is primarily working your glutes. You're gonna work a little bit of your trunk and your abdominals, and again, some hip work. The hardest part is to not fall back down as you're doing your bridge. So as you lift up, try not to let your butt come towards the ground. So really hold that butt up off the ground. All right, 1 minute rest. Now, remember which side you did for the hip circles and the hip bridge. I want you to switch to the other side. So if you were I was laying on my left side for the hip circle, so I'll be laying on my right. For my bridge, my left leg was moving, so my right leg will be moving for the exercise. Grab some water, take a break, walk around. Ah, man. It's very hard to talk and exercise at the same time. That's what's really taking away my breath. It sounds like it'd be really easy. File that under, it sounds easy, but it isn't. as I've said 100 times. All right, 10 more seconds, and then we're doing this one more round, and we're going to finish up circuit B. Okay. Let's get into a standing position so we can start when the timer goes off. All right, I'm down in my squat, slow as I can go. Hands and wrists together. Arms are on the insides of my legs. We're rocking back and forth. I'm really trying to pry into mobility. So when I say that, what I'm trying to say is take your joint as far as it feels like it can go. That doesn't mean you have to force it. That doesn't mean it should be painful. I'm a little stiff. I can feel this in the back of my calf, the back of my Achilles. It feels pretty good. I also feel this in my adductors or my inner groin muscle. And what I'm doing with my elbows is just gently pushing out. So gently pushing out and above, out and above. So we're trying to go over the top of the toes, over the top of the toes. Again, if you get tired, just come out of this position. You can stand up and walk around if you can't squat for the full minute. But to make this hard, try and stay in this position. Okay, let's go right into the sideline hip circles drill. So I'm going right onto my right side, and I'm going to go up towards my body, circle out towards the wall, and all the way back around. This time I'm going clockwise, but I'm going clockwise with my left leg. So counterclockwise with the right, clockwise with the left. The goal on this one is hip mobility. So we're trying to open up the hips towards the wall, and then we're slowly bringing them all the way back around. Hip up to the chest, back towards the wall. Push your bottom leg down. Really try and contract that bottom leg into the ground. You should feel that leg working to not let you roll over as you go. Again, the goal on this one is end range of motion. Take that hip as far as it can go. All right, onto your back for the last exercise for circuit B. This time I'm bridging on my left. I'm gonna whip with my right. So bridge left, whip to the right. Oh, you can bust this move out of the club. Bridge left, whip right. That makes no sense. Oh. Again, we're really trying to extend the hips as much as you can. Get a good squeeze, lift up and out. Go out as far as you can with the leg that's whipping as well. That really makes it challenging if you try and get closer to the floor as you're coming up. Your whole body and torso is going to want to turn to the side. And the weight of your leg is kind of tipping you over. As you can tell, I'm fatiguing. Okay. That's it for circuit B. 2 rounds. We've got one more circuit left. We're not done yet. Take a 1-minute rest, grab some water, walk around. This is your time to take a break. I would recommend walking around. I'm not just to stay on camera and to show you guys and walk you guys through this. But this is the time I'd highly recommend walking around. Got 30 more seconds. And again, just to reiterate, there's a blue timer at the bottom that you should see kind of slowly going across. As it goes from, I guess, left to right, as it gets all the way to the end at the right, that's about when the timer is going to be up for 60 seconds. So that's a great way, if you're using your phone, that's a great way to kind of judge the times. Okay, so circuit C is going to be up on the board here. We're doing dynamic planks, shoulder exercise, and then downward dog. So I'll show you those, don't worry. Okay. Dynamic planks is our first exercise. So what we're gonna do is get into a push-up plank position. We're gonna go down onto our elbows and then back up. And I want you to alternate. So go down with your left and then back up, and then down with your right and then back up. Now keep going on this, don't stop. But I'm going to show you a beginner version that you can do as I'm destroying my mat here. So the beginner version, or the easier version, is going to be onto the arms and elbows and back up from the knee position. So you can be in a kneeling position and go back and forth. This is the easier version And if you need to, put something soft underneath your knees. That'll help with some of that discomfort. This is one you can go a little faster on, so your intent can be speed on this one. Okay, take a rest. Now we're gonna do our external rotation of the hips in a sideline position. So let me show you this one. It looks complicated, but it's not. This leg rotates up. This leg rotates up. Ready, go. Keep your knees down. So the knees should be kind of pinned down to the floor. As you can see on this top leg, my knee is stuck into the ground. And then my bottom leg, my knee is touching the ground. Well, close enough anyway. So this is considered hip internal rotation. This is hip external rotation. So I'm laying on my left side. For this round, I'm gonna do this side. For the next round, I'm gonna do the opposite side. Now this looks easy, but it's quite challenging to get that end range of motion of that hip. So we're really trying to lift up to those last couple degrees. Okay, now we're gonna do some ankle mobility drills. What I'm gonna have you do is get into a downward dog position, which is sort of the yoga move, right? Our knees are gonna be straight, our arms are gonna be wide. It's like the P90X guy. And I want you to pump those ankles back and forth. If you see how I'm driving my heel down towards the ground, that's what I want you to try and do. Now to make this a little easier, put one knee down and just kind of rock back and forth. You'll still get a nice ankle stretch, but it won't be as hard on your shoulders. I don't have the flexibility to go all the way straight up. It's a lot for me. It might not be for you. But keep pumping, keep going back and forth. Try and touch those ankles, heels to the ground. Oh, okay, 1 minute break. I don't even know why I'm fixing this anymore. Got 60 seconds. So again, it's up on the screen. First movement is the dynamic plank. You are going from your forearms to your hands back and forth. Make it easier by kneeling. Make it harder by really trying to go fast. So try and get some quick motion on that one. You can go for speed on that particular exercise. The next motion is the sideline exercise where you're lifting your hips up off the ground. That's working some of those deep hip rotator muscles that a lot of people just don't work in their programs. And then we have the downward dog ankle pumps, which is going to be more of a calf, Achilles, ankle mobility type exercise. Last round, and then we are all done. So let's give it all you got. All right, let's get in position. Okay, here we go. Dynamic planks are first. Remember, we're going down onto our forearms and then back up. You don't have to go as fast as I'm going. You can go as fast or as slow as you can, but make it challenging. The goal with all these exercises is to make it challenging for you. What's challenging for me might not be challenging for you, or vice versa. And if you get tired, take a break. Drop right down. You can drop into those knees, into your dynamic plank from here, or just take a break and jump back up into your plank. That's the nice thing about these EMOMs, every minute on the minute. Your goal is just to make it challenging. I'm not as concerned with this particular movement, the number of reps that I'm doing. And my abs are on fire. Okay, I'm gonna lay on my right side now. Why do I even have this mat here? Okay. Internal and external rotation. So this knee we're trying to keep down as I lift up the other leg. Sorry about that. Knees stay down, leg lifts up. Knee down, leg up. I was paying attention to my top leg. Almost there. Got 30 more seconds. And my left leg is getting tired. It's starting to lift up. It's burning. Just keep breathing. We got 15 more seconds for the last round for circuit C. And then we have our ankle pumps and we are all done. So let's finish strong. Almost there. All right, let's do our ankle pumps. So let's get into our downward dog position. Legs are straight. And let's ankle pump back and forth. We're really trying to drive our heels down towards the ground. You can do these with the knees bent, which is going to hit more of the soleus muscle, or you can do these with the knees straight, which is going to get a little bit more of your gastroc. Basically the two muscles that kind of comprise, the two main muscles that comprise your calf. Might feel a little different with it bent versus straight. Well, shoulders are going to get tired too because you're holding yourself up in that plank position. Keep breathing. If you slide, just readjust. Get back to your position. 10 more seconds and we're done. Let's finish strong. Jesus. Whew. Okay. Oh, all right. Man, I am tired. I hope you guys enjoyed that workout. I've been posting several of these on my channel. I think this is the 7th or 8th one that I've done. You can go back, I made a playlist. My recommendation is if you're doing these, I would cycle them throughout the week. So, maybe do this one on Monday, the other one on Tuesday, full body on Wednesday, that sort of thing. These are easy enough that you can perform them daily. That's the kind of goal and intent here, is to make these easy for you guys, to not have a crap ton of equipment, and to really just be practical with ways you can make them harder or a little bit more difficult. If you like the video, do me a favor and hit the like button. It really helps my channel grow. It helps other people find this video. If you enjoyed it, please share it with friends, share it with whomever, and consider subscribing. I make a lot of this content on a consistent basis, and I also make videos on physical therapy, mobility, and exercise. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you.